I bet you that reinvention has really helped you as a songwriter, though, too. Because, like, I look at a song like an easel, right? Like, if you paint a painting, and then you rip it off, and now it's a blank slate of paper, and now you have to redo another painting. It's the same thing with
Yeah.
a song. So every
Yeah.
song you're reinventing. You can't write the same successful song over and over again. So that had to have helped you, right?
Yes. And you just said something that I was also saying to somebody yesterday or the day before. It's like, I'm so glad that I'm writing music, because if I was a painter, I would literally having to do a literal canvas. And then the
Yeah.
literal canvas, when I was done, I would have to put the literal canvas somewhere on a wall, give it to someone in the garage, right? It's like, if I was a potter, a sculptor, I would actually have to have a place for that piece of pottery, where each one of my songs, each endeavor that I have, it takes up, wafer thin. It takes
Sure
up no
does. Yeah.
space, and it takes up space in my mind. I write it all down. I write every song down, and I record every song in whatever fashion that I recorded in. But many times that's it, and then it's on to the next one. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. The reinvention, and it's also been that obviously those years of movement and reinvention were like, now I see they were insurmountably helpful to losing my husband. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then also figuring out, do I even want to write? What does that look like? Who would I want to write with again? How would I want to write now? And like, when I came back to start writing again in this past year, I said, I've said to everyone, you might think you know me, but you don't. The only thing you know about me is that I actually do know how to write, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
and
And that's on both sides of that, right? Like, they have to be willing to learn more, and you have to be willing to give
yeah,
more too, right? So
yeah.
that's not anybody's fault that it's like that. It's just that's the way it is, right?
That's
And
the way it is.
yeah,
And as a person, like, making painfully clear that not only am I not interested in resting on my laurels, but my laurels aren't even anything that are relevant to who I am now, except for the fact that I can sing these songs and play these songs and people love them.
that's
It's
right.
like, I'm very much I'm here now. And it's like, this body of work is what I hope to have connect within some zeitgeist, but I don't know if it will. And if it doesn't, that's also beyond my control.
Yeah, and that's just growth, man. You're just
Yeah.
defining growth in your own life, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
We're talking about reinvention, man. I'm just gonna go through some of the artists who have cut songs by Tia Sillers. This is reinvention in its finest. We're talking John Waite, Engelbert Humperdinck, Little River Band, Vince Gill, Patty Page, what?
Yeah.
Ronan Keating, John Party, Jennifer Lopez, J Lo, Five Finger Death Punch, Kenny Wayne
I
Shepherd, of
think
course.
that's punch.
Like, this is reinvention right here.
Yeah.
Like, you're just talking about, like, as many different, like, generational and genre and different artists, and it's just crazy, the catalog you have, and it's pretty obvious where that's come from your upbringing, being able to reinvent, being able to adjust quickly to whatever's happening around you. I love that so much. And you talked about collabs, and I want to chat about that with you too, because you have had some pretty phenomenal long term collaborations. We're talking about, obviously, with your husband, and also with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and there are others. Take us through, as a songwriter, the beauty of having the trust of a long term collaborator like that, and what it takes to kind of formulate that with someone.
The most fascinating thing about collaboration, and I think of it interestingly, because a lot of the songs I've written in these past years have been by myself. So I'm also adding myself to
Yeah.
one of my favorite collaborators.
Yeah, sure.
I'm evolving. I'm bouncing all these things off me. Wow, Tia, what do you think? What do you think? But it's like, each time I get back together with these people, like, one of my favorite collaborators is Gabe Dixon, and I get to write with him way too infrequently. But when I do, it's, first of all, it's the catch up. It's the reunion time, finding out what each of us has gone through and is going through and endeavoring. That's just hugely inspiring, but you're coming at it from already a source of community. So, like, you've already proven your friendship or your compatibility.
Sure.
You already know that.
Yeah.
So you already know that you've struck, you've been flint on flint before and you've made a fire. So that's not a doubt. So then you get to reconnect with each other because you're both not the same people that you were the last time you reconnected, and you get to kind of circle back. But it's like both comforting to be with this person that has known you and been through all sorts of things with you, and then it's also invigorating to see how new they can be, where you don't get that with somebody new. With someone new, it's truly new. And it's like, how long can you have a long, like, as I'm writing with brand new people, I'm always curious. Like, let's say we begin to write together. Will we write 5 years together, 10 years together? Will we know each other,
Mm-hmm.
in another decade? What will we know about each other? What secrets will we know each other? How involved will we be with each other? And I find that really fascinating.
Yeah, and that's again, I say it all the time with the co-writing aspect of songwriting. Check your ego at the door, right? Like, yeah.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things is so Moss and I wrote a bunch of songs of Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and we were just, we were just professional. We were songwriters, all friends for years and years and years. And then finally it was I guess in 2002 or something like that, that Moss and I, became a couple, and we kind of kept it secret for a while because we were sheepish about both being songwriters and in the business, and
Mm-hmm.
let's, keep it quiet. And so we go and we tell Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and this was like after like a concert, and he goes, "Well, this is awesome. You'll both be so much easier to find." Like, well, I only had to find one of you.
Did your writing relationship with him change after you became a couple at all?
We had this like really strict rule. I always called them hats. Like, we had our
Sure.
spouse hat, and then we had our songwriting hat.
Right.
And I had all these rules. We were never allowed to call each other honey, baby. We were never allowed to talk about what was going to be made for dinner. We could never talk about the flat tire that we had earlier. Or if we did, it had to be in an antidote, like, well, yesterday I had a flat tire. It couldn't have been like, well, we had a flat tire and Moss didn't show up to help me change the tire, and now I'm really mad at him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more like I couldn't use that. We had to use antidotes that were describing us independently, or maybe we could talk about, we couldn't use each other as we couldn't be teaming, a tag teaming. We couldn't be, I mean, all of that.
Yeah.
It's like, because I really chafe at that. It's like there's been a handful of husband and wife writing teams, and I wanted nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
and
the
even
separation was truly very, very important.
so important. We never wrote at the same publishing company. I never let us write more than 15, 20 songs a year. I was the one. I mean, but if it had been up to Moss's choice, we would have written everything together all the time. And I was like, no. And it turned out to be this great thing, because he then went on and, was music director for other bands. He went and toured other things. He had his own artist career. And that was really important, because at the end of the day, Moss had a breadth, a bandwidth of music that he could write.
Mhm.
And that was what he was really good at. And I had a much wider breadth. And not that I'm saying that my wider breadth is better, but mine is more scattershot, like more like a jack of all trades, ace of none.
Yeah, you're more chameleon than him, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I had just partnered only with him, I would have narrowed my own. I wouldn't have gotten to be my skin shifter, my
Yeah.
shape shifter.
Yeah.
thing.
That's so cool. In retrospect, you look back at it, do you notice a difference? Was the collaboration better before marriage or after? Can you see that, or is there none?
That's one, that's tough, and two, wow. I mean, we wrote some of the best records. We wrote all of Moss's records, almost all of Moss's records post marriage. But yeah, I mean, well, let's just put it this way. I don't like to use the word single. I use the word solo. I'm a solo human being now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not found anybody as amazing or awesome as Moss is on the planet so far in my journey. And there's one thing I know for sure, and that is I don't ever want to love anyone who's another musician or songwriter,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want that competition, and I don't want that kind of competition, and I don't want to be able to have to downplay my success or vice versa. It's like, um, I really felt like I had to do that for our own relationship. And also, maybe it's because I hate to pull the gender card, but I'm the woman, and but
humans naturally compare. That's what we do, man.
yes,
Even when we
and
don't want to, right? Like we're
I think
always
I
comparing.
definitely downplayed or turned down a few options and opportunities in our marriage to keep the peace as a couple.
Yeah.
And because also too, I was like his number one fan. I thought he was like the coolest artist on the planet. So I really just wanted to write Mark Selby songs, which also wouldn't have been the right thing for me anyway. So it was a real battle within myself
Yeah.
to to do that. And now it's the only thing that I don't miss about him is I really do like the incredible freedom I have. I mean, I've only really been writing full time now for not quite a year. So I'm closing in on 11 months. So I'm a year and away from being a full-time writer again.
Wow.
And I have liked the extreme cray cray freedom I have. Yeah.
Yeah.